Natural methods, holistic approach, functional medicine, these techniques require a much higher commitment level. Let's be honest, changing your diet, shifting your lifestyle, shifting how you view life in terms of stress levels, all of these things do require a lot more effort on our part. And a lot of times I'll ask somebody whether they've tried natural methods, and a lot of the time they'll use the phrasing, yes, I've tried. I've tried changing my diet. I've tried taking herbal remedies. I've tried practicing yoga, or whatever the scenario is. And therein lies the clue. See, trying is quite different to making a commitment and deciding that you are going to do everything in your power to shift your diet and really focusing on nourishing your body. Committing to a protocol, an actual proper strategy in terms of using herbal remedies, and actually deciding that this is something that you're going to commit to. Here's the thing, I don't want you to feel guilty about trying and experimenting, because that's where most of us start. And it may not be the right time for you to actually commit to shifting your diet or implementing anything. It may also be a case of let's just try this for a bit and see how it goes. But it's only once we truly commit and once we actually decide to put our health as a priority that we can genuinely only feel the shifts. And that is because it becomes a focal point. And it's something that we make a priority above other things that may actually be inhibiting our health. So for me, the biggest motivator was I was driven by just a serious need to not have another surgery. I had 7 surgeries in the end, and I was just so over it. Like, I just felt so crappy after those surgeries that I wanted to do everything in my power to prevent having to have another one. And everyone has their own motivator. So for some women, the motivator was getting pregnant, having a child. That was such a big motivator for so many of my clients. For some, it's that they really don't want to have another surgery. For some, it's that they've just had surgery and they don't want to have another one, and they want to do something that they can feel a sense of empowerment over their body. They want to feel that there's something they can do to actually support themselves. And there's a sense of control and a sense of strength in those choices that we make to allow ourselves to feel better. And so when we shift this approach from trying to committing, there's something distinct that happens. It's that we give something 100%, and we give it 100% for a period of time with the intention of really seeing a shift in how we feel. When we do it like this, there's a different approach, and there is really this mindset of I'm wanting to give this 100% because I really want to make sure that there were no stones unturned. There was nothing that I could have done differently to truly test this. See, if you don't commit to something 100%, so let's say you go, okay, I'm going to kind of cut out gluten, I'm kind of going to cut out dairy, and every now and again you have a little bit of it, then you can't for certain say that you didn't do that 100%, and then you can't for certain say that you didn't get results from it, because you don't know where, the variables are there. So there's no guarantees that you gave it 100%. So therefore you're always going to go back and question, well, did I really give it 100%? Or was there room for me to improve the commitment level that I gave this thing? And so when we look at it like this, what I really encourage you to do is to actually give yourself a really short deadline. So, if you're unsure of whether natural methods can help you, if you're really unsure of whether a herbal remedy can help you, take that one thing and just commit to it 100% for a short space of time. So this might be like literally 1 month, I'm going hot out, gluten-free, I'm not having any gluten at all for that whole month period. And then I'm going to try some gluten and see how my body reacts. This will give you a much more clear indication of how your body responds to gluten. But also, you can then 100% say you gave it all you got in that time frame, and then you can see how your body responded, whether that's helped you reduce pain and whether it's helped your symptoms. But when we give something 80%, well, there's always going to be that doubt, isn't there? So I invite you to explore this idea with me. This idea of, instead of trying, really committing. There is something that's going to come up for you. And this tends to happen when we are in a stressful environment, or there's other things going on in our life that create anxiety in our life, because there is a tendency to shift back to our old patterns, the patterns that are comfortable to us. So then you need to really layer up some kind of process that you can rely on for yourself, that replaces those normal tendencies that you might have. So I'm going to explain this a little bit more. So let's say whenever you had a shitty day, you would reach for chocolate, okay? And the reason I'm using this is because that's something that I typically do. So shitty day, chocolate. Chocolate has dairy, has sugar, not the best choice when you're committing to really prioritizing your health. So what I needed to ask myself was, why am I needing chocolate? What is the chocolate providing me during this time? Or what in my life is causing me this level of anxiety and stress that I could possibly minimize so I don't have the same need for chocolate? So two-pronged approach. What is triggering the stress response? What are the thoughts and emotions that come with that stress response that I could possibly minimize? Could I reframe what's causing me stress? Could I reframe how I view myself in this situation? Is there a way that I can actually shift the stress component, which is, I'm telling you now, is the much more powerful way to go? And then secondly, could I find a better way to deal with that than leaning on the things that actually don't serve my health? So can I go for a walk instead of leaning on the chocolate? Could I maybe do some yoga instead of leaning on the chocolate? Could I just sit down, be still for 5 minutes? Now, this is really challenging to do when you're in that heightened state of anxiety, so I totally get it. But it's questioning and experimenting with different techniques that help you shift to this new version of you, this healthy version of you, this person who has committed to make health a priority, and finding the tools and mechanisms that allow you to achieve that goal, that isn't just an excuse-based kind of, oh, I was having a stressful time, I needed that chocolate, that's why I couldn't stick to this 100%. Questioning a little bit deeper as to what's holding you back. What I almost found for myself is almost this reframe of the kind of person that I wished to be, and what kind of choices would that person make. So really this idea of being a healthy person and a person who prioritizes herself, an empowered woman. What would she choose to do versus somebody who often can fall into that place of being more of a victim to her health and her condition. I know that might be confronting for you, but that's where the shift happens. that is where you really decide that you don't want to be that victim person anymore. You don't want to be that woman who's just stuck in pain, never gets better, always has symptoms, always struggling, always going around in that perpetual loop of never really shifting anything. Shifting begins when you decide to make health a priority and you decide to make yourself a priority. And that's really the core of everything that I'm sharing with you today. It's about making yourself a priority. When we decide 100%, we decide that our health is more important than looking cool for our friends. We decide that our health is more important than pleasing our husbands. We decide that our health is more important than anything else that may be inhibiting that health. And that can be hard, particularly when you feel that you don't have those choices in this moment. You may feel that you're stuck by your job or your marriage or your friend circle or whatever it is. Here's what I invite you to do. Start thinking about when those choices come up of, oh, I want to eat healthy, but ask yourself what that but is. Why is it hard in that moment? What is it on a deeper level that's inhibiting you from making better choices? I know for me, a lot of it was actually social awkwardness. So really feeling like, people are going to think I'm weird if I say I want to eat gluten dairy free. People are going to start judging me like I'm this fruitcake. Those kind of social feelings were a big part of my learning in really going, no, but my health is more important to me. And I really want to get better. And I am going to make this commitment. So really have a think about these things. And I would love to hear your experiences, what challenges come up for you, and really invite you to just broaden your mind in terms of the possibility of shifting your pain, your endo, your symptoms. Because this is not just about shifting your diet and taking some supplements. Yes, obviously those things can help, but this is so much more than that. This is really about shifting your mindset from the space of feeling stuck and like broken, like this condition is part of who you are, and this identity of being this weak woman. I don't want that for you. And I know that's not really you, because you've shown that you are stronger than endo on so many levels. You've endured incredible pain. You've pushed through in moments where you had to. You've managed to achieve things where it felt like it was impossible, and you still managed to do it. So I know that that is not you. You are strong. Deep inside you are strong. And it's that strength that I really want to harness out of you. That's the strength I really want you to bring up and make stronger. And the way we do that is we decide and we commit and we lean towards this vision of ourselves of being that strong, empowered woman. So you've got this. I know you do. And I really hope this message reaches you in the most positive, healing way that it possibly can, and that you take strength from it. I'd love to hear from you, so feel free to leave a comment below or reach out to me on support@endoempower.com.